Imagine a man standing alone on a windswept mountain, far from the eyes of the world. No disciples. No applause. No accolades, just silence. This man is Miyamoto Musashi, a legendary Japanese swordsman whose name has echoed through history for over 400 years. But what made Musashi truly extraordinary was not just his unmatched skill with a sword, it was his mind. His mastery came from relentless mental discipline, years of solitude, and a way of thinking so strategic it allowed him to face life's challenges with calm precision. At the age of 13, Musashi won his first duel. But it was not luck or brute strength that made him legendary, it was what he learned afterward. Through decades of battles, failures, and introspection, he uncovered timeless principles that could reprogram the way anyone approaches life, work, and personal growth. These were not motivational slogans. They were practical lessons forged in the fire of experience, designed to build inner strength, self-reliance, and a freedom no one could take away. Today, we are going to explore 4 principles inspired by Musashi: Kaizen, Ikigai, wabi-sabi, and the path of solitude that can transform the way you live, think, and act. Whether you are feeling stuck, searching for purpose, or simply looking to grow stronger in mind and spirit, this video will guide you step by step. So before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button if you are ready to take control of your life, and subscribe to the channel for more insights that turn ancient wisdom into modern action. Trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. Let us begin the journey of mastering your mind, just as Musashi mastered himself. After the whirlwind of his early victories, Musashi realized that brute force and luck could carry him only so far. The duels he had won as a teenager, moments that once felt like triumph, began to reveal their limitations as he faced increasingly skilled opponents. Each victory was a mirror, reflecting not mastery, but survival. He was strong, yes, but not yet invincible. It was in this humbling crucible that Musashi discovered the principle that would define the rest of his life. True mastery is not born from sudden leaps of skill or dramatic transformations. It is forged in the steady, relentless rhythm of small, daily improvements. The kind of change so subtle that it becomes part of your very being without demanding recognition or applause. As he honed his craft, Musashi abandoned the frantic pursuit of new techniques in favor of a deeper, quieter obsession, refining a single movement, a single principle, day after day, until it was inseparable from his mind and body. Timing, distance, posture, each element was dissected, practiced, and perfected in microscopic increments. Where other swordsmen sought to impress with flashy techniques or overwhelming power, Musashi pursued the invisible path, trusting that the accumulation of imperceptible adjustments would eventually create a force no opponent could anticipate, let alone counter. In the chaos of a duel, he did not rely on reaction alone. He had trained so patiently and so precisely that instinct and awareness fused into a singular, unstoppable presence. This principle, later echoed in the modern concept of Kaizen, is more than a method for sharpening skills. It is a philosophy for life itself. Musashi's approach teaches that progress is rarely dramatic or immediate. It is not the sudden acquisition of talent that changes the course of a life, but the patient, persistent repetition of small actions, each one barely noticeable yet collectively transformative over time. He understood that the mind resists massive leaps, that the human spirit balks at the enormity of change, but it adapts almost effortlessly to the rhythm of incremental improvement. For Musashi, this meant that even after decades of combat, he never stopped refining the simplest elements of his art. Each day, he returned to the basics, practicing movements that many would consider trivial. Yet these were the very foundation upon which mastery was built. By focusing on tiny, consistent improvements, He created a momentum that grew imperceptibly until it became undeniable, until the distance between him and any other swordsman became unbridgeable, not because he had been born exceptional, but because he refused to stop moving forward, however small each step might seem. In the modern world, the same principle applies to every pursuit. Whether professional, creative, or personal, the overwhelm of starting from scratch, of trying to change everything at once, often paralyzes the best of us. Yet, if we mirror Musashi's approach, we begin not with grand gestures but with modest, deliberate actions. Sending a single email, writing a single paragraph, tidying one corner of a room, learning a single concept. Repetition, consistency, and patience become the engine of transformation, quietly rewiring habits, skills, and confidence. Over weeks, months, and years, what began as seemingly insignificant accumulations become a foundation strong enough to weather uncertainty, challenge, and the inevitable chaos of life. Musashi's legacy reminds us that mastery is not an endpoint but a process, one defined not by the applause of others or by visible leaps, but by the quiet, unwavering commitment to improvement. It is in the discipline of these invisible steps, taken day after day, that strength emerges, resilience deepens, and the mind begins to operate with a precision and freedom that cannot be disrupted by external forces. By embracing the slow, patient cadence of incremental growth, one cultivates not only skill but also the inner fortitude that allows a person to move through life with clarity, purpose, and an unshakable sense of self-reliance, just as Musashi did centuries ago. Musashi's journey through a lifetime of duels and solitude was more than a pursuit of skill. It was a quest to understand the deeper currents that give meaning to human effort. Early in his life, he had tasted the thrill of victory, the adrenaline of outmaneuvering an opponent. Yet he sensed a hollowness behind the applause and notoriety that followed. Each battle, each narrow escape from death, taught him that technique alone could never satisfy the restless mind, for mastery without direction is like a sword without a target, sharp yet aimless, capable yet unfulfilled. It was in the quiet hours between conflicts, in the solitude of meditation and reflection, that Musashi began to perceive a pattern, an invisible alignment that had the power to transform mere skill into purpose. True fulfillment, he realized, comes not from the endless accumulation of victories or the perfection of movements, but from discovering that delicate intersection where one is passion, natural aptitude, societal need, and the potential to provide value converge, creating a life that resonates with meaning far beyond personal achievement. In Musashi's case, the sword was not merely a tool for combat. It became the medium through which he could express the harmony of discipline and creativity, strategy and intuition, effort and insight. His relentless practice of incremental improvement was not just about becoming stronger or faster, but about aligning every action with a deeper sense of purpose, ensuring that every motion carried intention and every decision reflected understanding. By focusing on the intersection of what he loved, the art of the sword, the subtle dance of timing and distance, what he was naturally adept at, keen perception, mental agility, and endurance, what the world around him needed guidance for younger warriors, the shaping of strategy and philosophy, and what could provide tangible value, knowledge, techniques, and wisdom that others could learn from and apply. He transformed his practice from a solitary pursuit into a life that inspired, guided, and influenced countless others across centuries. This alignment of purpose does not reveal itself through force or urgency. It emerges gradually, through observation, experimentation, and reflection, in the patient weaving together of talents, passions, and opportunities, Musashi understood that chasing superficial success, fame, wealth, or empty recognition could never substitute for the deep satisfaction that arises when effort is guided by meaning. Each strike, each strategy, each moment of stillness was a deliberate step toward integrating skill with purpose, showing that the measure of mastery extends beyond technical excellence to the impact one leaves on the world. In the modern lens, this principle resonates as profoundly as it did in feudal Japan, reminding us that a fulfilling life emerges when we identify the activities that ignite passion, leverage innate strengths, respond to genuine needs, and contribute value that transcends the self, shaping both our own journey and the lives of those around us. Musashi's legacy teaches that purpose is not a static destination but a living intersection, a dynamic point where effort, talent, love, and service converge, creating a rhythm that sustains growth and guides action. Without this alignment, even the most skilled individual may find themselves wandering, lost in the repetition of technique or the pursuit of hollow accolades. Yet when one discovers this intersection, life itself becomes a canvas for mastery, each day a chance to refine, contribute, and grow. Purpose lends meaning to every motion, every decision, and every pursuit, transforming diligence into passion, discipline into creativity, and skill into legacy. Musashi's life embodies this principle, showing that the truest victories are not those won in battle, but those achieved in the quiet commitment to live a life of significance. Where passion, ability, need, and value meet, creating a harmony that resonates far beyond the confines of the self and echoes through generations. Musashi's life was a testament to the profound power of embracing imperfection, a lesson that often emerges only through the trials of experience and the quiet reflection that follows them. From a young age, he faced the reality that mastery was never a linear path. Victories were tempered by failures, and each mistake revealed a hidden weakness that could not be ignored. In his practice of swordsmanship, in the crafting of strategy, and even in the writing of his reflections, Musashi recognized that the pursuit of flawless technique or perfect form was a mirage, an unattainable ideal that could imprison the mind and suffocate creativity. Instead, he found strength in what others might perceive as flaws, in the uneven edges of a blade honed through countless duels, in the subtle missteps that forced him to adapt and innovate, and in the moments of personal failure that revealed his own resilience and capacity for growth. In this acceptance of imperfection, he discovered an authenticity that could not be manufactured, a depth of character that spoke more eloquently than any polished victory ever could. Musashi's understanding of imperfection was not limited to combat. It permeated his philosophy of life. He observed the world around him, the gnarled trees bending under wind and rain, the rugged mountains carved unevenly over millennia, the flowing rivers that meandered without symmetry, and he saw beauty in their forms, a beauty born not of adherence to strict rules but of resilience, adaptability, and the honesty of existence. Just as nature thrives in irregularity, so too does the human spirit grow when it accepts its own asymmetries. Musashi's works, from his tactical writings to his reflections on life, carried this same ethos. He did not seek to present a facade of perfection, but to cultivate a practice and a mindset that could adapt, endure, and flourish despite and often because of its imperfections. In recognizing his own limits, he cultivated humility, patience, and a willingness to learn, understanding that each flaw held the potential to guide him toward greater insight and mastery. This philosophy resonates deeply when connected to his broader journey of purpose and discipline, showing that the intersections of passion, talent, societal need, and value are not destinations defined by precision alone but living processes shaped by trial, error, and refinement. Musashi's willingness to confront the unevenness in his skills and character allowed him to evolve continually, to find innovative strategies that others might overlook, and to cultivate a depth of understanding that rigid perfection could never provide. In embracing the imperfect, he also illuminated a profound truth for life beyond the sword. That authenticity, creativity, and resilience emerge from the courage to acknowledge weakness, to confront error, and to allow growth to follow naturally from imperfection rather than resisting it. In modern terms, this perspective reminds us that progress does not require flawlessness, that personal development and fulfillment are not measured by an unbroken streak of success, but by the ability to engage honestly with our limitations and transform them into opportunities for insight and innovation. Musashi's life shows that the most compelling strength and the most enduring beauty are born in the spaces between perfection and failure, in the asymmetries that define the character and journey of every individual. By accepting his own imperfections, he not only enhanced his skill as a swordsman but also enriched the legacy he left behind, demonstrating that true mastery is inseparable from the courage to face one's flaws, the wisdom to learn from them, and the grace to find beauty in the very aspects of ourselves and our world that seem uneven or incomplete. In embracing imperfection, Musashi revealed a path to authenticity, a life shaped not by rigid ideals but by the living, imperfect pursuit of growth, purpose, and lasting impact. Musashi's journey was as much about cultivating inner independence as it was about mastering the sword. For he understood that reliance on others could create vulnerabilities far deeper than any physical weakness. From early encounters with rivals to years of solitary training, he learned that true resilience arises not from the support of allies or the approval of society, but from the quiet, unshakable foundation of one's own mind, body, and spirit. Each day spent alone with his practice was a lesson in self-reliance, forcing him to confront fear, uncertainty, and the limits of his own abilities without the comfort of guidance or reassurance. In these moments, he discovered that dependence even on those with good intentions could distract from the clarity of judgment, dilute personal responsibility, and tether one's potential to the unpredictable actions of others. To stand alone, then, was not an act of isolation but a deliberate cultivation of autonomy, a way to ensure that decisions, strategies, and actions flowed from one's own insight rather than the sway of circumstance or the influence of external pressures. This independence did not imply disdain for companionship or cooperation, for Musashi also recognized the value of collaboration when it emerged from shared vision rather than necessity. Alliances forged out of choice rather than compulsion allowed ideas and skills to merge naturally, enhancing creativity and strategy without compromising personal sovereignty. He applied this principle not only in duels and battles but in life itself, treating every interaction, every partnership, and every relationship as a test of alignment rather than convenience. By choosing collaboration consciously, he could maintain his own center, remain accountable to his principles, and prevent the erosion of focus that comes when dependency substitutes for strength. This approach transformed solitude from a state of deprivation into a tool of empowerment, enabling him to engage with the world fully and effectively, yet always from a position of grounded autonomy. Musashi's philosophy resonates far beyond the world of martial arts, illustrating that emotional, mental, and practical independence is essential for navigating the complexities of life. The ability to stand alone equips individuals to face adversity with clarity and courage, to make decisions guided by insight rather than pressure, and to pursue growth and purpose without compromise. Dependence, by contrast, can create subtle chains, limiting potential, constraining creativity, and fostering a vulnerability that external support can never entirely protect against. Musashi demonstrated that strength cultivated within is more enduring than any borrowed power, and that the freedom to choose connection intentionally enhances, rather than diminishes one's resilience. Even as he mastered his craft, he remained acutely aware that true mastery of self required embracing solitude, confronting inner fears, and refining judgment independent of external validation. His life reveals that independence is not mere self-sufficiency, but a disciplined awareness that balances autonomy with discernment, allowing engagement with the world from a position of clarity, strength, and purpose. By standing alone, Musashi discovered the depth of his own capabilities, the precision of his strategies, and the authenticity of his path, showing that the most enduring power comes not from reliance on others, but from the courage to face life with self-reliance, the wisdom to choose collaboration wisely, and the resolve to act from insight rather than obligation. In this balance of independence and intentional connection, he left a blueprint for resilience and mastery that transcends time, illustrating that real strength is cultivated within and expressed outward through conscious, empowered choice. As we reach the conclusion of Marcus's journey, it becomes clear that the lessons drawn from the lives of visionaries like Musashi are not relics of the past, but timeless principles that can shape our own paths today. Marcus embraced the wisdom of Kaizen, understanding that mastery is built through small, deliberate improvements, and that every day presents an opportunity to refine skills, expand knowledge, and strengthen character. He learned that success does not come from sudden leaps or dramatic breakthroughs, but from patient, consistent effort, applied with awareness and intention. Each incremental step created momentum, allowing him to move steadily toward his goals while cultivating discipline, focus, and resilience in the face of inevitable challenges. At the same time, Marcus discovered the power of Ikigai, finding the intersection of his passions, talents, societal contribution, and personal fulfillment. By aligning his work and personal ambitions with a deeper sense of purpose, he transformed effort into meaning, challenges into opportunities, and achievements into expressions of authentic value. Life became more than a series of tasks or objectives. It became a canvas for purpose-driven action, where each choice reflected a balance of personal desire, practical skill, and the impact he wished to leave in the world. This alignment provided clarity, motivation, and a profound sense of satisfaction that could not be shaken by external circumstances. Wabi-sabi taught Marcus to embrace imperfection, recognizing that flaws and asymmetry are not weaknesses but gateways to growth, creativity, and authenticity. Through this lens, failures were not setbacks but lessons, and limitations became sources of insight rather than frustration. By accepting imperfection in himself and in the world around him, Marcus cultivated patience, humility, and appreciation for the fleeting beauty of effort and progress, understanding that authenticity is born from the courage to act despite incompleteness. The solitary path, meanwhile, revealed the importance of independence and self-reliance. Marcus learned that true strength is not measured by the number of allies or the degree of external support, but by the ability to stand firmly on one's own. Emotionally, mentally, and practically, collaboration, when chosen consciously, became a source of enrichment rather than necessity, allowing him to engage with others without compromising autonomy or diluting purpose. Solitude was not loneliness but a space to develop clarity, resilience, and confidence, providing the foundation from which all meaningful action could emerge. Together, these principles shaped Marcus into a person capable of navigating life with discipline, intentionality, and grace. They demonstrated that consistent, purpose-driven action rooted in self-improvement, meaningful purpose, acceptance of imperfection, and autonomy leads to lasting freedom and fulfillment, offering a roadmap for anyone willing to walk a deliberate and reflective path. His story is a reminder that greatness is not reserved for the few, but is accessible to those who commit to growth, embrace authenticity, and cultivate the courage to act in alignment with their true purpose. Thank you for following Marcus' journey and exploring these timeless principles with us. If you found inspiration or insight in his story, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that delves into personal growth, mastery, and the pursuit of a meaningful life. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that empower and guide you on your own journey toward freedom and fulfillment.